Okay, so this is how we have been placing orders for many years now. You always start with the agent. We are going to make this a final expense mailing. Let's do Indiana, Marion County, single family dwellings, these ages. Let's go with that. We're not going to have this due until the 30th though. We're going to suppress against, yeah, weekday. We're going to suppress against all orders for 60 days. So didn't get into too many specifics on that because that's the count system. So how we currently place orders, or well, we were before we had to start compensating for the data, there's just an order button at the bottom of the count. So because of the way the system, our current system, to get the leads to the agent, it has to be connected to the PO, and our counts actually connect the agent to the PO, which then connects to the mailing data through the barcode, and it all goes back and reads off each other. So we've got a final expense mailing to do in Marion County, Indiana. Now, all of these cards are final expense pieces. We were originally going to set these up to be the only cards you can see were cards that fit both the final expense and the state that the count was run in, because we do have some state-specific cards. Like the F-256 actually says Texas on it, and that's just something we keep track of when we are in our library over here. I believe I gave you that. Okay, so our designer sets up a piece, puts it in here. This creates an image where you can make some notes on what type it is. You can see what the image looks like. So that's where we get our samples to send to agents. You can see if there's any variable data that needs to be filled in on the order form. And then so from here, when our designer puts the card into the system, it creates a card tracker development ID, which is this 892 at the top. And it also will create a leads v2_1 lead image ID. So that it's just that those both work together. So whenever there's anything put into here, both of those IDs are created. So we've never got to the point of cleaning up the library well enough to be able to mark that they're state specific. That was going to require an extra table. It was just that we had other things to worry about at the time. Okay, so this is the information that needs to go in any order. You need to know what image you want to use, what color you want the paper to be, the invoice number. We are currently set up that if there's not an invoice number, the PO will not pull. The data will not go in. It'll go into the lead data hopper, but when Rick runs his process, it doesn't pull any of that data because it's not been paid for. So if you forget to put that invoice number in there, it doesn't mail. Rick runs a reconciliation so that he can make sure that all the invoices are being pulled that are supposed to. Okay, so you can put in an invoice number there. This card, here, let's actually go through it and look at this card. Okay, why is this not? Okay, this is running terribly slow. Might be on my end. Okay, so the year will get automatically populated. We don't have to worry about the year. Now, this piece requires that there is an age range that is filled out, a dollar amount that is filled out, and an agent or agency or license number. All of Texas's cards require that. And then the age gets duplicated down here. And county actually gets put into here. Oh, well, I guess not on this card. Okay, so we know that we need an agent name. There's no phone number that's printed on here. There's definitely not two numbers. The order number just keeps track of how many times that person or this agent has ordered. It's just a good way for us that we can keep track of who's new and who's been around for a while. License number, we know that Texas requires that. There's not a company or anything printed on it. The age range, that's the ages that we want printed on that statement from the library. And that income range is that dollar amount. It is not actually an income. It is a policy amount. All right, so we only want records from Beech Grove. So we can go in and see all of the zip codes and cities. We can see just the zip codes, or we can see just the city. So we're going to take these 105 records out of Beech Grove. So what we've given the order now is a location, how many records out of that location, the variable data year, which we have it set up to pre-populate. And that does get changed because the Medicare mailings that we're working on right now actually say 2019. And our system automatically ups this ups it to 2018, 45 days before the end of the year. But during Medicare Advantage season, during this annual enrollment period, we have to manually do it. But this is not Medicare, so we're still on 2018. This is the dollar amount that's getting put in. So we're telling that all the information that needs to be printed on the mailer, it's been paid for. This is the color of paper, and that's the image to use. All right, place order. Okay, so now we have a PO. Now, this is in the MS Data database, and the PO number for the MS Data database is 32975. But because so many of our reports and everything are currently running off of the Leads v2 _ database, it automatically populates a PO number for that as well. So I can pull up in the old system, the Leads v2, the 131. Okay, it's not letting me copy the number. So it is created, it's pulled the data it needed. It doesn't have anything attached to it as far as down here, but it does go ahead and automatically create this PO. That is the PO that the maps are based off of as far as when I insert the latitude and longitude. That is what all the reports are based off of. That is what all the mailing data is based off of. It is all based off this PO number, not this one. That's why the PO gives the results of both. And since the whole point of a PO is to get leads back to the agent, our system's just set up that it connects to the agent through the count ID. So it's got the MS Data count ID and the Leads v2 count ID. We've got the agent name, the type of mailer it is, the mailer, color, the due date or mail date, however you prefer that. All the information that's supposed to be on here. So now if I go into, let's I don't know if it works. The data hopper is based on the count of the PO ID. All right, so it is a PO. All right, so because I've got a PO number created, that's when this data gets put into the lead data hopper. It's given a unique ID number. That is part of the suppressions. Of course, none of this is going to work because it's not in there correctly. This would be the people that we would mail to. So when we ran our count, these were the people that we counted. We've got a walk sequence. That's for Rick's processing. We've got the PO number, the agent ID, the image that that piece is going to, that order number, the paper color, full name. Now, downloaded will stay 0 until Rick runs his process report. So, or when he does his pull data PHP, that changes the downloaded to 1. So we know that that record has been processed. Now, some of these are old. Some of them are, well, it normally would populate any of this information. Like the Phipps County code, we knew that because we ran the count based on it. The ages should have populated. We didn't choose any homeowner renter, but if the data had that connected to it, it would be there. These are all the fields that have our reports based off of. So now you can see that there's a lead data hopper. So I guess if we go in and we do Rick's process here, I think what's going to happen is that's going to change this. Well, now I don't remember if I put in the invoice number. Oh, I did. It should have pulled it. Okay, so now when I rerun, you can see that downloaded is equal to 0 because I pulled that data. So then we've got the information that the pull data has requested. It is not everything from the lead data hopper, but it does populate, the PO number, the agent number, the image that record gets mailed. That's the number of times ordered. This is the rec ID that the system assigns it so that we can keep track of it. That's the color paper. That's the agent name. That's the license number that gets printed on it. That's the age that gets printed on it. That's the dollar amount. So each one of these individual images, when Rick takes it and starts and begins his processing, he doesn't have to go in and make sure that each one of those pieces populated with all of that information, because what he's going to create is a great big huge file of, well, this one's going to be the 105 records, an individual PDF of each one of those pieces with all this information filled in. It's like, this person's going to have this information filled in on the piece. And that's going to also include the PO numbers, what helps create the barcode on Rick's end. And my neighbor's mowing. I'm very sorry. And you talk to Rick more about what happens on his end, but that is basically how we do a PO. We are just trying to take that count and tell Rick exactly what information we need from that count and what to do with it. So that's how it's working at the moment. So then once Rick's done, he does all of his processing, gets it into the format that fits the mailing data. I don't end up with a random number because there's not going to be anything there for this one because it's not been processed. So then that's where he has created the PO ID, the job number, the sequence number. So as you can see, the barcode is the first 5 digits. Well, it used to be 5 digits until we went over 100,000. The first 6 digits will be the PO number, and the sequence number in the order of the mailing would be the last 5 digits. So you can get in the mailing date and see where all that stuff goes. And the intelligent mail barcode is a different barcode than what our system uses. That's a post office populated that we can see the pieces go through the scanning machines. It's especially in like the sorting facilities when they're getting everything where it needs to be. And we are required to have that on our mailers. And that's part of the processing that Rick does. He has postal software that creates that barcode for us. So let me know if you have any questions, and I will talk to you soon.